What is up? Welcome back to another episode of Don't Quote Us Sports. It is Tuesday, January 13th, episode 38. Some athletes, prominent athletes to wear the number 38 off the dome real quick. Starting baseball. If you didn't know, Yogi Berra wore the number 38 before switching to his more known number of 8 early on in his career. Then probably the best player ever to wear 38 goes to good old bloody sock himself, Kurt Schilling.
Hell yeah.
Formerly of the Boston Red Sox and Arizona Diamondbacks. Over in the football realm, we got Ramondre Stevenson, the dude that has blackmail on Mike Vrabel, stopping my dear beloved Travion Henderson from truly popping off this year.
Undoubtedly he has blackmail.
He had, no doubt. This one you might like. Remember the name Jeff Heath?
Hey, that's a Saginaw Valley State alumni, Hall of Famer. How dare you ask if I remember Jeff Heath? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? The Caucasian missile in the back? Come on now. That dude ended people's careers.
He is the reason we have Reed Blankenship and Cooper DeJean out there.
Gotta be right.
Him and Harrison Smith paved the way.
Hey, fun fact, one of the coaches from Drake coached Todd Heath at Saginaw Valley. Said he was a great guy. He said he hit like nobody's business. I go, yeah, check tape, bud.
You know what the best part is? If you had to guess how old Jeff Heath is, how old do you think he is?
Jeff Heath was playing...
2021.
Last played in 21?
Yeah.
So... Oh, shoot. I mean, he's probably got to be just 35, 38 if he played in 21.
34. So his last year was at age 30.
Good for him.
And then lastly, in basketball, there really was not a whole lot of players to play basketball. Kwame Brown wore number 38 during his time with the Detroit Pistons. And that's about it.
Oh, that's such a horrendous basketball. It's not a great number in general. It can be done. That's a horrendous basketball number. That's a terrible basketball number.
I don't know. Marcus Smart makes 36 look not too bad.
That's different, though. That's not 38.
How's it different?
I didn't tell you. The 8 looks weird.
It still holds the same type of integrity. It's the same type of integrity of the number.
Yeah, I get the form you're talking about here, all right? It's just 36 I think is doable. 38's an ugly number.
Well, or is there any other number 38s that I potentially missed?
I blacked out in the beginning. Did you mention Jim Thorpe in the beginning?
No, I never get those old heads.
Yeah, listen, if there's an award named after him, we owe the respect. Jim Thorpe rocked 38. And let me hit you with a little bit of a bag pull here. A little bit of those sitting around with your buddy, just naming random guys. Andre Ellington wore number 38.
Ooh, okay. He was fantasy relevant there for a couple years.
Yeah, that was definitely like a... That was for sure like a, hey, here's the number. We don't know if you're making the squad kind of thing.
I don't know. 38 for a running back. That's doable.
Oh, it's not bad. Not bad by any means. I prefer below a 35, though. If you're wearing 36, 37, 38, 39 as a running back, I'm wondering which practice squad they got you off of.
I'm just wondering how slow they are. Because you're in fullback territory with that type of number.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at Darren Sproles, he was in the 40s.
That is true. 43. God, that was odd.
Who was 44? There's a 44 I'm thinking of. Yeah.
We'll get to them. We got some episodes. We can think on it.
All right. Okay.
I'm trying to think if there was any personal gripes that I had in my life recently.
I,
since last week to talk about.
I have a gripe, and it's a recent development.
Okay.
Why are there not more free activities in decent sized cities? Because I'm going to tell you what, dating in 2026, brother, I'm going broke. I need a parlay to hit like I need everything in the world. Like I need air to breathe. I'm going broke here, brother.
My question to you is: because I know Iowa, they still pay you for it. Have you been recycling your cans? Five
I don't
cents a
have
can, or
I don't have
just
cans.
come on, come on. I'm telling you, you tell people to start recycling at work, you'll get cans up the wahoo.
I have a monster every day at work, but I've not considered bringing it home with me empty. That would be that might be startling. That might land you in HR. People would be concerned. There'd be phone calls made.
No, you're just recycling. You're giving back. You're trying to prolong the world. That's all.
I feel like somebody might make a phone call. I'm at the point of donating body parts. I might sell a kidney.
Hey, plasma is always an option. I don't know how good your blood is, but it's always an option. I think. I don't
I
think
have
you have
I
any of
have
the.
donated plasma,
Um,
and my blood is fine. Thank you very much.
yeah, see, I heard that pays quite well. But if you are trying to get on the black market, I'm pretty sure a kidney goes for like 20 grand,
Hey,
and you
easy
only need like
money.
half of it, half of one.
Easy money. Listen, if it makes money, it makes sense. Let's see. Where do I go for this?
Uh, Probably somewhere in Africa.
All right. Well, if any of our listeners know of anybody who's in the secondary market for human organs, you let me know. I've got a kidney to sell you.
It might not be in the best condition, but it's years for the right
It's
price.
listen. It's lightly used. Okay. It's an '08 Camry. You know what you're getting.
There's far worse kidneys out there, more
Yeah.
pristine kidneys.
Yeah.
This is gently used.
Yeah, but anyway, while I'm enjoying my time, I am having to get much more creative. I'd like to thank Chat GPT for some assistance, but finding like low impact financially or free stuff to do, especially in the winter, brutal.
Yeah, I was gonna say the winter definitely makes it a whole lot harder than if it was the summertime.
Yeah, Chat GPT said go for a walk in the park, which I'm not opposed to a walk in the park, but that only lasts so long.
Yeah. Have you gotten ice skating yet? That's always
No,
fun.
but I don't know. I don't know the skating plaza here. I don't know if they're up and running with it being. Oh, I don't know. I think it was like close to 50 today.
Oh shit. You can always check out the Rexplex. See what's going on over there.
Oh, a little open skate.
Rexplex. Yeah.
All right.
We'll see. Not many sheets of ice in Des Moines that they have open times for, I bet.
Hey,
So it might be a little bit
plenty of
trickier.
ice in your hometown. There it is.
Oh, in Minneapolis. It took me a second there, but
We
I
got
got
there
there. I'm proud of
to,
myself.
together.
We did it. It took me a second, but I got there. We're gonna veer away from that topic.
Oh yeah, no, I
Um,
made the joke,
let's
and I'm leaving it
hop
right there.
into let's hop into sports because Herb, I know you were working, but I know you were scoreboard watching with the best of them. Did we have a weekend of games, brother?
Mm-hmm.
Every single one, minus last night's Chargers Patriots game, was an absolute white knuckle event till the very end. Multiple lead change possessions in the final minutes of multiple games. A lot of unexpected results, I would say. So I think it makes sense to just start with the first one and just roll through them. How's that sound?
Works for me.
Okay, so start on Saturday. the afternoon kick with my newly home. Can I call them hometown team?
I don't think you can call them
But we
hometown,
got the Los Angeles Shrimp. Yeah, but it's my
but it is the town in which you live and call
current
home.
residence teamed there. Uh, the Los Angeles Rams come back to win 34-31. Remember, they did start that, come into that game favored by, I believe it was 10.5 points. Um, but I kind of had this feeling when Carolina scored with just over 2 minutes left. I saw this coming. I was like, that is far too much time for Matt Stafford, who did
Yep.
struggle mightily in the second half after he hit his finger. But I just knew 2.5 minutes, that felt like way too much time. And wouldn't you know, it was.
Yeah, and I mean, classic Stafford in form at the end. You could have left him with 60 seconds. He would have figured out how to get that done. Like it I can't blame Carolina. What an incredible season. What an incredible game. It was super competitive. Like they looked like they were supposed to be there. I didn't think they were going to look that way, but they absolutely did. They could have left 30 seconds on the damn clock. Stafford was going to figure out how to go down there and win that ball game. So, and again, I think it's just Stafford continuing to
Yeah.
solidify this MVP run.
Yeah, the Rams tried doing a lot to give this game away, specifically with the penalties. A lot of penalties on LA during this game. They looks like they got called for 9 for almost 90 yards during this game. But I think the Panthers' game plan coming into this game kind of went by the wayside because the running game really didn't contribute a whole lot outside of a couple short yardage touchdowns, but they were averaging only like 3.5, 3.8 yards per carry. So they were really putting a lot on Bryce Young's shoulders. And hey, I'll give Bryce, he is due for he's obligated to throw an interception that's pretty ugly early on in every single game that he plays, it seems like. But he turned it around after that, and he made some clutch plays um, through the latter part of that game.
And what have we been saying this whole time? Pay the man. It's proven. I mean, it's there. It's in front of your face. Pay the guy. And with the interception, yeah, he throws him ugly and early. Maybe he's like a champion boxer. I gotta take a couple punches to get a little loose and get into the game. So I'm gonna continue to say it. Pay Bryce Young.
Yeah, just to get him into the rhythm of the game, right?
Just get a little feel for it.
But yeah, if I'm a Panthers fan, I regardless of the result, it was absolutely electric here in Charlotte for that game. Pre-game, they had all the streets closed around the stadium, bunch of stuff going on. It was packed, a lot of emotions. And then you had Cam coming out pre-game to bang the drum, put a nice old hole in that bad boy. But yeah, you can tell that the Panthers next year, they add a couple more pieces. I think they could be back here, and I think actually winning a game.
Absolutely. And let's touch on that because there is growing understanding that Rico Dowdle is not going to be a part of this thing next year. There's frustration coming out of him. Do they have enough? Or I mean, are we going to be talking about they're going to be in a massive running back market in the offseason?
Dude, this is what I need to remind everybody. People have quickly forgotten a cat by the name of Jonathan Brooks, who was their second round pick just last year, who tore his ACL. So they spent mucho draft capital on this cat, and I think they are just waiting for him to actually stay healthy, and they're going to be happy to replace Rico Dowdle with Jonathan Brooks.
that feels like such a gamble, though. Like, are you willing to stake your consistency on offense on a guy that can't? You've been 2 years in the league and can't be healthy.
Okay, but let's also think back about Rico Dowdle outside of those couple monster games that he had, because he was quite mediocre after the fact.
Okay, but those
So
monster
let's not
games
sit
are
here
why
and
you
talk
guys
about
were in
Rico
this
Dowdle
position.
as some type of like top tier. Yeah, out of what, 3 games? 3 games in which he went nuclear.
Would you have been in the playoffs without those nuclear games from him? Probably not.
Yeah, but you don't pay a dude just because of his past performances. 3 games out of
What?
the entire season. You need to look at the entire. You have to look at the entire picture outside of those 3 games.
I get that. I mean, you look at the overall year, outside of those 3 games, mediocre is a good word, middle of the road, sure. But like those 3 games, I'm not saying he's a top tier running back, but he was a massive part of this offense throughout the season, and especially in those games, especially when Chuba got hurt, and the fact that ETN hasn't come together like they thought he was going to. I think Rico Dowdle is a huge asset for them, and I think it's going to hurt.
I think you are overstating Rico Dowdle's importance here.
I think you're
Especially when you
wildly
already have Chuba
undervaluing
Hubbard,
it.
so it's not like he's going to be the bell cow. No, I don't think I am at all.
I think
going to
they're going to
be
hurt.
28 years old in in just a couple of months, and outside of those 3 games that we mentioned, he averaged a little over 3 yards per carry. So
That's
just my 2 cents.
I think there's going to be some lack of production there.
Okay, let me put it this way: how much are you paying him? How much do you pay to bring him back?
Yeah, and
this will decide.
That was going to be my second. Like, is he asking for a 4-year contract when in reality he should be getting 2 years B tier money?
Give me a number. What would you, to bring him back, how much would you offer him? The Saquon is getting paid $20.6 million per year, average annual. James Cook is just signed that extension. He's getting 11.5. How much are you paying him to come back?
Yeah, I would do like a 2-year, and I'd be in that 8 to 10 mil a year, probably closer to 10, probably somewhere in that 9.2 range per year.
So you're going to pay him in the same tier of Swift, Hubbard, Genty, Stevenson, Montgomery, James Conner, Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones. See, that's where I struggle because they already have Chuba Hubbard locked up for $8.3 million. And I think this is a tale old as time, right? Running back is notorious for being one of the easiest positions to replace from an offensive skill position, and the fact that you already have $8.3 million tied up with Chuba, I don't think they're going to be paying a whole lot for Rico Dowdle to come back. If he was to accept $2.5-3 million, similar to what he got paid this year, yes, maybe there's a chance. But outside of that, anything more than that, feel free to test the open market.
I guess I didn't know they were paying Hubbard $8 million a year, which seems like a bit much. I thought he was making that 4 to 6 range. But no, I like as a GM, I would be comfortable with Rico underneath 10 mil a year on a 2-year deal.
Did find Carolina. I do think they did find Jalen Coker as a solid number 2 receiver moving forward. I think.
What are his stats? What's the stats on him for the year?
for the year, they're going to be a little bit skewed because he missed at least half of this season with an injury. So he finished the year with 33 catches, 394 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's on top of what he did in this on Saturday, which was 9 catches, 134 yards, and a tutty. But the big thing is he's just reliable. This is his second year in the league now, and he still hasn't dropped a pass during his career.
That's not
So he's a
bad.
good safety blanket. He's a good safety blanket for Bryce Young, and you can see that they have a connection as well.
So are we starting the early Larry Fitzgerald comps already, or I mean, do we need to get that going? Should we be first in the door on that?
No, we're going to stay extremely far away from that. But I think if we're talking about best undrafted free agent receivers of all time, I think maybe we could be looking at like I think an Adam Thielen type career, a Doug Baldwin type career. He's never going to go absolutely nuclear, but I think he could be a consistent dude that's like 700 yards every single year for 7 years or something like that, which is all you need from a wide receiver too. But I think Carolina, their defense, or potentially a tight end in the first round of this draft. Could you imagine the kid from Oregon as their starting tight end, Sadiq? I think that just an athletic freak could be
Sadiq.
interesting. But get probably a tight end in there, another veteran receiver that actually has some juice left, and I don't know. I think Bryce Young. There's still a couple more levels to his game. I feel like moving into the Saturday night game, a battle of NFC North rivals, Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears, and it looked like this game was over at halftime. The Bears were floundering. They didn't look like they knew left from right. They couldn't get anything going. Some bold fourth down calls that didn't pan out for them. And it felt like after that McManus missed field goal at the end of the first half, it was almost like that was the momentum shift right there because Green Bay comes out second half and they couldn't move the ball worth a damn the entire second half. Whereas Chicago, I believe, scored on the first 6 drives in the second half.
So with this game, again, I didn't watch it live. I had to roll back. Why was this classic Matt LaFleur? Like it,
I would say it was a lot of conservative play calling. There was a lot of runs with Josh Jacobs that were getting stuffed like right up the middle. Wasn't really outside of the tackles that were just getting stuffed. So wasn't they would do that they would get cute with some plays and then they find themselves in a third and long and they're like, Jordan Love, help bail me out, because we put ourselves behind the sticks. That seemed that's what it felt like.
yeah, you're totally right. And when with the play calling, it's like, and it's a problem I've had with Matt LaFleur. On top of his terrible clock management, he takes timeouts at the worst time and then chooses not to take them when he should. That's number one. But number two is every time the Packers are in this position under Matt LaFleur, it's like they're playing not to lose. And everybody in sports knows if you play not to lose, you're going to lose. It's almost like he's scared. Truthfully, at this point, the Packers at half should just turn the keys over to the DC and say, hey, you got the second half. I got us a 2-3 touchdown lead. You're the head coach for this second half. Because seemingly Matt LaFleur cannot coach in the second half, but more importantly, he can't coach late in the fourth quarter when his throat's on the line.
Does this feel like the end for LaFleur in Green Bay? He's up for a new deal. I believe It might be after this season. He might need a new deal before next season. Does this feel like a mutual parting of ways?
So I kind of thought about that today a lot. And the biggest question that I kept coming back to is who would they hire that's better? For the position they're in, who would be better? And the name John Harbaugh kept coming up, right? But Harbaugh's got a lot of demands. He wants total control. He wants to dictate because he's been there. He knows what it takes. And I get that. He has that right. He has the respect of the league to make those demands. But the Green Bay Packers are not the organization to just turn the keys over. They're the only publicly owned team in the NFL. Their GMs answer to the fans, and the team answers to the fans. So I just don't think that going out and getting a new coach is going to fix this. I just think that Matt LaFleur needs to go. Maybe he needs to go on an ayahuasca weekend with Aaron Rodgers and just get the head right and figure out how to be competitive in the fourth quarter because it's not working. And that's why you're hearing a lot of Packer fans being like, "We're done with this guy." Because I don't think Jordan Love's a bad quarterback. I think Matt LaFleur is a shitty coach in the fourth.
Well, first, I do agree with you. If you were to fire a coach and he immediately comes the best head coach on the market, you probably shouldn't fire the guy. He's probably pretty good. I hold on to that one. But I also wonder if this is just the ceiling of a Jordan Love-led team. This is 3 straight years now. Packers have finished as the 7th seed and lost in the first round of the playoffs.
And when you talk to Packer fans, at least realistic Packer fans, they all recognize how spoiled they were for a good 30 years at quarterback, right? I've had Packer fans admit that we get it. Maybe, and this isn't a knock on Jordan Love, but maybe he is not that caliber of quarterback. Maybe he's a really solid guy, and he's great at not making a lot of mistakes and putting his team in a position. But maybe Jordan Love isn't Aaron Rodgers in the fourth when he can take the entire city of Green Bay on his shoulders. And that's okay. But the expectation in Green Bay is that he has to be the end-all, be-all of this franchise, which I don't think is fair. This is a team sport. We're sorry that you've been carried by 2 names for the last 3 decades. Maybe expectations need to be adjusted on Jordan Love as a quarterback.
And sorry, Jordan Love did win 1 playoff game. They won 1 playoff game as a 7th seed 3 years ago against the Cowboys, then immediately lost in the divisional round to the
playing the Cowboys. The Cowboys in the playoffs. Everybody wins against the Cowboys in the playoffs.
But you're paying him what, $55 million a year. Has he proven that he is capable of, when things aren't going accordingly to plan, that he can elevate and pull his team to a victory? And I think the answer to that question right now is no.
I would agree. And when they gave him that 3-year extension, I said that Jordan Love was a dark horse for the following season for MVP because I thought there was something special there and I thought he was going to be the guy. He is the guy. He's their quarterback. I don't know that he's worth the 55 right now, but he hasn't lived up to the hype of it. He cannot be the guy you can't put it on his shoulders. He's proven that he cannot do it, and that's okay. It's just that's the expectation. So, no, if I'm down a score with 2 minutes left and I got 80 yards to go on a 2-minute, I don't know that I want Jordan Love as my quarterback.
Yeah, I just don't know if he has the killer instinct. And, again, how much do you hold it against him compared to the play calling plus just the weapons that they have around him? We just got done talking about Matthew Golden last Thursday and the struggles that he had this rookie year. And then he probably had played his best game of the entire season on Saturday night.
Found the end zone.
Yeah.
So can I talk about their defense though in the fourth? The Packers defense?
Yeah.
I like what they do on defense. I think there's some big glaring holes. A guy like Keyshawn Nixon shouldn't be your number 1 corner. That's an issue to address. But the attitude and what looked like a lack of give a fuck late in that game. I know they were tired, but fellas, you're playing your biggest rival in the opening weekend of the playoffs in a snow globe. Like, you have to, if you can't get hyped for that, how do you get hyped for anything in the game of football? They look uninterested. They were jogging around. They weren't flying to the ball. Like, I don't want to sit here and blame the defense. I blame LaFleur for that bullshit when they were on the 30 and he's taking shots at the end zone. But the defense did not look interested in being out there.
In fairness, they did have some injuries on defense that I think had a little impact on that. Can I, as you were talking, I was doing some research. You want to hear Jordan Love's stats in the fourth quarter with a game within 7 points? Because
Please.
I think this kind of supports our argument here. So he completes 58.5% of his passes for a 7-yard average, 6 touchdowns, 2 picks, and a passer rating of 94.3.
Yeah. I just don't think he has the clutch gene. You know, we've said about LeBron for years. He just doesn't have the clutch team. We don't want him taking the shot at the end of the game. He is a good quarterback. He is not an elite quarterback. He is not going to go out there and will your team to a win. He just doesn't have the clutch gene.
You know who it really sounds like we're describing right now in Jordan Love?
Oh, boy.
Kirk Cousins. A dude that will put up good, nice stats. No, listen. It's a
No,
dude that will
yes.
put up nice stats. He'll have his, where he will have his moments where, like, yes, this guy could, with the right pieces around him, he could win, right? But then he has those moments where it's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? What are you looking at? What are you seeing in this defense to make that pass? Or he just looks timid in the pocket at times, like scared. And the best you're going to get is a wild card win. You might get to the divisional round with him because that was Kirk's ceiling.
Yeah,
It's starting
I
to feel
mean,
like that.
I tell you what, I do like that comp. I wasn't knocking it. That never even occurred to me. I'm real curious to see how well Jordan plays and his win-loss record Sunday at noon kickoffs. Because I tell you what, if he's out there
Ooh.
killing them at noon on a Sunday like Kirk was, that's a real fair comp. The research is happening.
Okay.
This is going to be a very very acute Google search here. We're really locked in on a
Well, I
very
looked up.
specific
I
stat.
looked up. I looked up primetime games because that was Kirk's thing. That's where he got shit on a lot. Um, and for Mr. Jordan Love, he's 30 and 20. He's 30, 26 and 1 in prime time. 83 touchdowns to 31 picks, 97 passer rating. So it's not terrible, but 500.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Listen, I'll find the noon kickoff stat and we'll see. Watch, he's like undefeated at noon kickoffs. Again, this is advanced analytics here, folks. We are diving in with very, very pinpointed Google searches.
I know. Sometimes Google is just not reliable enough with it.
And
It's a
half the
bad
time you
moment
don't
for
know
me,
what ChatGPT is going to give you.
unfortunately.
So,
No, so I'm not. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Uh, According to this Google search, it says he's 9-5-1, but to say he's only played 15 games with a noon kickoff since he started seems pretty wild.
especially
So,
because the Packers are like a noon kickoff team. You know, there's a couple of teams in the NFL that like they put at noon on Sundays, and Green Bay's one of them.
yeah. But let's flip the script to the other team, the team that actually won, right? Because I don't know how Chicago keeps doing it. This is now their seventh fourth quarter comeback victory. Um, every single game against the Packers this year came down to the wire. It feels like this bubble has to pop eventually, right? Like this just feels like lucky bounce after lucky bounce over and over again.
Yeah, but the great teams have those along the way. I'm not sitting here that they're going to go win the Super Bowl. And I want to temper the excitement in Chicago because the tough part for Chicago fans is they're hyped, but they know in the back of their mind that it is all going to come crumbling down. And they're in full denial mode at this point. They're riding high, and I don't want to take that away from them. But yes, this bubble is going to pop. They're a good team. When you match them up against better head coaches with better quarterbacks, I just don't know that they've got enough going for them yet. And again, you can't keep doing this. You can't keep catching the lucky breaks. You can't keep coming back. It's going to come to a halt at some point.
Yeah, you would have thought with a little better play calling from Green Bay, they put this game away earlier in the third, and Chicago doesn't even have a chance, right? Because Caleb looked shaky in the first half with those 2 interceptions, and he was able to turn it on in the second half. So I'll give him credit. And have you heard the nickname going around for Caleb Williams?
Do I want to know?
It's a little NSFW.
Oh, not. Is there a slur involved?
Not technically.
Maybe we avoid that one, okay? We're still very young in this, and we don't need to get canceled on episode 38.
Okay. Let me text it to you first, and then you tell me if I can say it out loud. This is me learning.
This is 2026 Isaiah learning empathy and acceptance. You send it?
Okay, I just sent it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not going to be one we'll say on the pod. Well, but it has to do with the painted fingernails, doesn't it? Oh boy, what Twitter troll came up with that bullshit? That's brutal. Oh no. Hey, listen.
Yeah, I have a group chat where that made an appearance, and I couldn't contain myself.
I mean, it's not.
You sure I can't say it?
No, you shouldn't. It's not a slur. It's not hate, but it assumes a lot. And in the year 2026, we're leaving assuming behind. Assuming is for 2025, sir. We don't assume anymore.
Is that out?
He might be sooner than later. Oh!
Next, we're going to go over our 2026 ins and outs.
Oh, lock that in for a segment. Got him.
2026 ins. Never say no to pizza rolls.
Who previously has been saying no to pizza rolls?
Some people that are health conscious,
All these
people on gluten-free diets, trying to get keto friendly.
YOLO, eat the goddamn pizza roll.
Okay. Anything else about the Chicago game you'd like to discuss?
Yeah, Ben Johnson fucking hates the Green Bay Packers, huh?
Does he hate the Green Bay Packers or does he hate Matt LaFleur? That's a good topic, actually, because I've seen some videos. They've played 3 games this year. 3 games with Ben Johnson as a head coach. First game afterwards, I forgot who wins. But they shake hands at midfield, and Ben Johnson has his clipboard or whatever, and taps Matt LaFleur on the back. Shakes his hand, taps him on the back with it. Second time, it happens again. And it's like one of those quick, like, drive-by, handshake, pat on the back, get out, you know? This time it happens. You know what Matt LaFleur does? He comes with a coach nuzzled up next to him so that Ben Johnson's not able to do it again. And this was the quickest handshake I've ever seen before. They didn't even stop. They just fucking drive by. And then Ben Johnson immediately runs into the locker room and just starts screaming, "Fuck the Packers," which I can get behind. But goddamn, I don't know where this hatred came from.
I think this stems from way back. And with the last handshake, the handshake post game, in every still image I've seen, Ben Johnson is blurry. That's how quick he was getting the hell out of there. They couldn't even get a good photo out of it. I mean, he's outstretched like this. He's halfway home because he couldn't wait to get the "fuck the Packers" out of his mouth to his team. I think this stems from obviously being in Detroit. I think there was previous conversation about who's the best offensive mind. Is it Ben Johnson? It was Matt LaFleur when they were still coordinators, both of them. So I think there's a lot of that, but I think Ben Johnson fucking hates the Green Bay Packers.
Maybe that's what we need from our head coaches more. More hate. Stop being so buddy-buddy with each other.
Yeah, I mean, think about how great football was when there were true bitter rivalries of it all, right?
Yeah, you didn't see Bill Belichick out there being buddy-buddy with Tony Dungy, you know? He's like,
No.
I'm going to win this game.
Truly, the best thing that's going to come out of this whole Johnson-LaFleur thing is when they're fighting on the undercard on some YouTube Jake Paul boxing celebrity match. Let's get those two in the ring. Let's get them some headgear and mouth guards. Let's really hash this out, fellas.
I'm not watching any head coaches fight unless it's Dan Campbell against everybody.
Just Dan Campbell against 30 dudes?
Yeah, and I think he wins.
Well, hold on. This is interesting. What would be the matchup that you would want to see truly? Because I think it's Campbell and Vrabel.
That's probably the closest. Oh, no, D'Amico Ryans probably puts up a fight.
Brian Flores.
Linebacker? No, that's defensive coordinator. Can't do it.
D'Amico, that's an interesting. You know who would get their shit rocked, and I mean their shit rocked. It's Mike McDaniel. Could you imagine him? He probably weighs as much as the damn gloves.
Don't worry about it. Not a head coach. Don't matter.
He will be.
Yeah, for the Cleveland Browns. Congrats. Lucky guy. Gets to trade the Miami Sun for Cleveland. Talk about
hell
a downgrade.
Yeah. Beautiful lakefront, they say.
Go from your quarterback being Tua turn the ball over to Shador, my daddy got me here, Sanders.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Mike McDaniel, I'm avoiding bad quarterback situations from now on. I'm only going somewhere where I either get my guy or you already got a guy who is well established.
Hey, but you know how the saying goes. There's only 32 head coaching jobs in the NFL. You can't really say no. You don't know how many opportunities you're going to get.
Truth.
Speak it, I know. But Herb, let's wrap up the NFC side of things real quick. And that was the 49ers and Eagles. And I'm telling you, they've said it over and over again. The 49ers will continue to sacrifice anyone and everyone to keep Christian McCaffrey healthy this season. Because guess what? George Kittle, torn Achilles. He's out. He's out this year, probably out majority of next year as well. But guess who stayed healthy? And guess who pretty much willed them to a victory yesterday? That was good old
CMC.
Christian frickin' McCaffrey.
Yeah,
I just don't know how after the last couple of seasons, how he's been able to stay as healthy as he has this year.
Yeah, voodoo for sure. A sacrifice to the gods, absolutely. There's no question about that. And then the fact that he went to Germany, and let's be honest, okay, you go to Europe for a procedure, I'm questioning what's really happening over there.
Think some like Frankenstein type shit going on?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Listen, they probably stole an Achilles from a world athlete sprinter and put it in him.
Mm-hmm. But let's be honest. If we were to describe how Philadelphia's season was going to end, this was almost a storybook ending for the season that they've had. Dysfunctional, yelling on the sidelines, poor coaching, offensive stars disappearing when it matters most, poor offensive line play. It was all the main themes that we saw from this Eagles team throughout the year, all in one game. And yet they still almost won.
Yeah. Let me ask you this about this. What is the difference between the Eagles of last year and the Eagles of this year? Because they didn't suffer massive loss in free agency. They didn't have a shitty draft. Like, they've got their core guys, damn near everybody's back. What's the difference?
I would say the main difference was the offensive line play. Lane Johnson was injured for half the year, but then Landon Dickerson was one of the worst centers in the entire NFL this season. Their guard play struggled. So then your offensive line struggled. Obviously, that's going to impact Saquon and his ability to sustain drives and do what he was doing last year, right? And you could see it. Saquon goes for 2,000 yards last year, and there were stretches during this season where it just seemed like he disappeared. It seems like that down season that he had in New York, right, where he's getting hit at the line of scrimmage, and then it's like, okay, Saquon, make something happen, please, please.
Yeah, and he's like, where do you want me to go? I'm covered literally as soon as I touch the ball. What do you want me to do with it?
And then you have the new offensive coordinator, which I think everybody can agree was not the move. He
Bye-bye.
struggled the entire season. So that will be the fifth new offensive coordinator in 5 years there in Philadelphia. So there's no continuity there. So I think that plays into it. And then you have the whole AJ Brown thing that has just kind of been a black cloud over this team all season.
Let me talk to you about that because there was a hilarious moment in that game. And I mean, I was dying laughing at the expense of one Tom Brady, right? So they're talking and there's some conversation. Tom goes, oh, Sirianni and AJ Brown have such a great relationship as the camera pans and AJ is screaming in Sirianni's face. He's like, they're such good buddies. They've got such a great relationship. Is there in a screaming match on the sideline? Like, Tom, read the room, brother.
Yeah, talk about poor timing on that one. And that was because of I would say, the coaching again. Because the reason they got in a yelling match is because he's yelling at AJ Brown to get off the field to avoid a too many men on the field penalty.
Yeah, and here I'm gonna shit on AJ Brown for a second, okay? AJ Brown in the middle of the season was pissing and moaning. AJ Brown, middle of the season, was pissing and moaning, right, to the media, which he shouldn't have been doing it. He knew he shouldn't have been doing it. But all the drama and all the bullshit, right? So what do? They try to feed him in this one, right? 7 targets. He drops, what, 2 or 3? Has 3 catches in total. And pulls that bullshit on the sideline, then goes to the locker room and dips out on doing any media because he doesn't want to talk to him because all of a sudden they're feeding me the ball and I can't handle it. You don't get it both ways, AJ. You don't get it. You want to go pissing and moaning to the media because you're not getting touches. And now we're giving you touches in the biggest game of the season and you can't perform? That's on you. Go face the music, brother. Plain and simple.
Yeah,
Plain and simple.
he had some pretty egregious drops in that game that no star wide receiver in those moments should be dropping.
No. Do you think he's done?
The difficulty
You think
here,
he's done in Philly?
that's what I was going to ask, because that's the difficult part, because he's due, I think, about a little over $20 million in cash next year. But if they were to cut him or trade him, he would count $45.3 million against the cap. So essentially double the pay. So I don't know how that makes sense from a Philadelphia perspective, unless they finagle the cap somehow and put some void years onto it or something, and then trade them. It seems like they're almost stuck together.
And I mean, at what point, as a GM, a coach, an owner, are you fed up with this shit? And money is money, and it is what it is. Get him off the team. He's a problem.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, but that's a lot of money to chew up. Like, this isn't a Russell Wilson type thing where he was just atrocious this season. Like, he still had moments where it was AJ Brown. You
Yeah.
know, it
What,
was the
he
AJ Brown
finished
that
with
we
1,000 yards?
know and love. He still finished with over 1,000 yards. Still had 7 touchdowns, but it's all the antics that come with it. You know, but is that worth 20 extra million counting on the cap when you already have an extremely expensive roster? That makes it tough.
True. Very, very true. Because I tell you what, teams like the Patriots, teams like the Raiders would be willing to pay, I think, a pretty penny to get the production. Thinking, especially Vrabel, absolutely could reel A.J. Brown into being a more calm. Look at what he's done with Diggs. Granted, Diggs has had a few off the field issues, but Diggs isn't in the media every week pissing and moaning. And I think that's got a lot to do with Vrabel. I think A.J. Brown his career could be saved by Vrabel. Right now, the way I see it, A.J. Brown, while productive, Antonio Brown was productive too, man, and nobody wanted to touch him after a while.
Yeah. From the other side, flip side here, 49ers, kind of like what we had said leading up to the playoffs this year, it was kind of unfair that these NFC West teams had to go play on the road, considering they had the best records in the entire league. But I think it all worked itself out in the end. Best teams won each of those games, in my opinion. Maybe a little bit tighter than some may have expected, but still won nonetheless. But now we'll kind of get into next week's matchups. Now they have a rematch with rematch with the Seattle Seahawks, and we just saw how that played out a couple weeks ago, where they struggled mightily in that game. Less than 200 yards total offense. You know Seattle's going to be rocking, but just that first pass, looking at the two NFC games next week, what are you thinking? First one is that 49ers Seahawks game.
Yeah, if the Niners want to win, they are going to need to see something out of Brock Purdy. And truthfully, I'm kind of tired of the Brock Purdy hate. Brock Purdy is a good quarterback. I get it's a high price tag, but he's been their guy. He is Shanahan's guy. Perfect. The issue is that Seattle is a well-oiled machine that likes to move real fast. And I just don't know that the Niners defense is going to maintain with Seattle. So I would lean more Seattle on this one. And then Rams Bears is such a toss-up for me because it's the Bears at home. We don't know what the weather's going to be. Stafford's fingers banged up. We're just not sure what's happening there. But then you look at the Rams offense and you go, they've got too many weapons to fail. They're going to be exponentially better than the Bears defense. So I'll take Seattle. I'll take the Rams. Seattle, I think, is a lock for me out of the four teams.
See, I would go vice versa. I would have a lock on the Rams. I just like Stafford in this situation against the Bears,
Sure.
who, like we said, I think the bubble's going to pop here sooner rather than later. Seahawks, while I think they should win this game, I just don't know what Sam Darnold I'm going to get because we saw what he did in the playoffs last year. Granted, he was fending for his life behind that Minnesota offensive line, but will he turn into a pumpkin again? Only time will tell.
I guess. Hey, before we get off the NFC, I want to throw something at you, and it has to do with one of the 49ers. Juwan Jennings had one catch in that game, one for 45, and then throws a 29-yard touchdown pass. And then all of a sudden, all this stuff started popping up about who Juwan Jennings really is. Are you familiar with him as a high school recruit?
No, I can't say I am.
He was in his class. He was the number 5 dual threat quarterback. He was ranked ahead of Joe Burrow, Sam Darnold, and Lamar Jackson as a dual threat quarterback coming out of high school. Isn't that insane?
I think that just goes back to the whole ranking system for high schoolers when you're trying to rank a bunch of 18-year-olds.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. But I'm like, Jennings, like the guy that plays wide receiver, big play Jennings? Yeah, quarterback. No shit.
But we'll move over to the AFC games here. Oh my god, I feel like shit. Sorry. I had to get that cough
You're
out.
good.
We'll start in Jacksonville. Bills come back with less than a minute left, win 27-24 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. And a game that truly felt like Jacksonville should have won, in my opinion. But I think the playoff experience of the Buffalo Bills really was a factor in this game, where they got that ball on that final possession, and you kind of had that belief they were going to go down and score no matter what.
Yeah, Josh Allen is exactly who we thought he was, right? And we've known. And I know this year has not been as smooth as previous years to the playoffs, but it's kind of like Pat. It's like, dude, just get us to the playoffs. I'll go win you these ball games. We've said it ad nauseum that this is the year for the Bills to go do it because the Chiefs aren't involved, and that's their kryptonite. You just knew Josh Allen was going to do something. You just knew James Cook was going to do something. And, dude, that's not to knock the Jacksonville Jaguars. Incredible season, played an incredibly hard-fought game, just came up short, and a lot of it was experience between Trevor Lawrence and Josh Allen. Again, you look at those two's resume, and it's like, yeah, Trev, you're not even playing in the same ballpark right now, brother.
I just don't understand what the offensive play calling from the Jacksonville Jaguars was, because they were gouging the Buffalo defense on the ground. And then all of a sudden, they just completely abandoned the run. And it just didn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, I think some of that has to do with a rookie head coach. Granted, he's coached in the playoffs. He coached Tampa Bay as the OC. He's been there, but it's never been his name at the top. So I think again that playoff experience, and Liam Cohen has done a great job. He's probably going to win Coach of the Year. But that showed through of this is a very, very big stage when it's your name on the letterhead, not Todd Bowles, not whoever it might be. But I think that probably played. I think Liam was trying to go out and get ahead. Like let's try and create space here, getting away from the run game. It didn't play out. He'll learn. They'll be back. And I bet you next time they play in the playoffs, we're sitting here talking about, holy cow, they ran the shit out of the ball.
Yeah, they were averaging almost 7 yards a carry against. That was where Buffalo struggled the most this season. That was their rushing defense. And Jacksonville exposed that for stretches during this game. They generated on outside runs, they generated over 119 or 115 yards, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But then they started having Trevor Lawrence pass more frequently, which doesn't make as much sense considering the Bills actually have a pretty good pass defense, all things considered. And you could see that, like, he had come into this game, his previous, 3 or 6 weeks, I think he had, 15 touchdowns to, 2 interceptions. And it was similar to back when he made the playoffs last. I think it was 2022. or 3 when they played the Chargers in that game they came back in. Same thing. He had gone about 15 touchdowns, no interceptions or something leading up to that playoff game. Goes and throws 4 picks in that playoff game. This year he throws 2 picks, right? So doesn't matter how well he's playing going into the playoffs. It doesn't seem like he rises to the moment. Still makes some boneheaded mistakes.
Yeah, and that one's tougher to attribute to lack of experience because he has been there and he was on some teams back in the day when he was first came in the league that like you had a lot of vets who knew how to win a lot of football games. So I don't think jury's out on him yet, but I think if we see something similar next year, then we need to start hitting the alarm bells of like, hey, he can get you there, but that's as far as he goes.
Yeah, and that's the difficult part too, is when you really can start making assumptions about these quarterbacks, especially in the AFC with all the great quarterbacks that are playing in that conference right now. How much can you really hold one particular player? Because we'll get into it with Herbert too, because he's kind of in the same boat as well, struggles in the playoffs. Um, so, well, I think there's still an opportunity. I still don't really know what Trevor Lawrence's ceiling is. I think we've started to see what the floor is, but he did come into the NFL as a can't miss number 1 overall pick, generational prospect, and he's
They were
underwhelmed
calling him
ever
Peyton
since.
Manning.
Mm-hmm. You have to wonder if it's there. Like, he's had these stretches. Like, we've seen these stretches where he's amazing. It's just the consistency with him and putting it all together for a long stretch.
Yeah, and I said it last week. Liam Cohen has gotten the most out of Trevor Lawrence in a very, very short window. Obviously over the whole season, but like leading up, very short window. I'll be really interested to see what we're hearing after the season. We get through some camps about hearing about Trevor had the guys down to Florida with him, and they're out there throwing, and just having a actual full calendar year under Liam Cohen. What does that Trevor Lawrence look like? Yeah, I mean, he could be one of those quarterbacks that we're sitting here talking about. Dude, he's a top 5 guy in the league and all this and that. Again, I don't know if he's got that killer mentality, but we'll see. I think give him some time to develop with Liam, and we'll see what that looks like.
Yeah. Herb, you want to know a fun fact about this game from a
Sure.
Buffalo Bills perspective? This is their first road playoff win since 1992. If you are unfamiliar with that time, that was the George H.W. Bush administration.
I was born around that time. Okay, I was born around that time.
Yeah. So we knew it was going to be tough for Buffalo as a 6th seed, having to win 3 games on the road to make it to the Super Bowl. But they got one out of the way. Kind of got the monkey off the back with that stat. Now they have a very difficult environment in Denver that they will be traveling to next week. I'm not sure what the time of that game will be, but it could be quite frigid. But Buffalo is prepared for conditions like that.
Immediately, as soon as the matchups came out, I went straight to the Weather Channel to check what the weather was going to be in Denver. A high of 57 and sunshine all day with a low of 32. Low pressure system moving through. We're going to get a great football game.
This is some bullshit. I didn't sign up for a 57-degree game in Denver in January. The fuck?
Yeah, it's going to be damn near tropical, bro.
The fuck? That's not
Yeah,
cool. I
it was
need
the
them
first
to.
thing I ran
I
to.
need them to start. I need them to start pumping some snow in there. At least give me the feel that it's a lot colder than it is. You know?
Listen, the Saints got in a lot of trouble for pumping crowd noise. I imagine that Denver would have to shut down the franchise if they were pumping fake snow in.
No, everybody would be aware of it. It's more of aesthetics than anything else. I'm not saying on the field. Just get it on like the sidelines and stuff, you know?
I just want a white Christmas, man.
I just don't want a fucking 57-degree game in Denver in January.
Yeah, it's going to be beautiful. I bet you there'll be guys in shorts in the damn stands.
I remember when the NFL was for men. They had to play in frigid conditions with leather helmets and whatnot.
The Ice Bowl players could never. They could never in January,
And
57 degrees.
now Roger Goodell has Father Nature in his back pocket paying him off so we don't even get tropical or frigid temperatures anymore. It's bull.
No.
It's bull crap.
Bad for ticket sales when it snows, buddy.
God. They're probably NFL's probably in the lab. They probably get these planes and like fly over all the clouds in the area leading up to a game that clears them of all weather. You know, conspiracy.
Don't quote us, but Isaiah just made an allegation that Roger Goodell is cloud seeding. Alert the authorities, folks. I want a full-scale investigation.
It's only fair. Tom Brady can't play with some balls, but they can go and manipulate the weather? Malarkey! There's no integrity in this game anymore, Herb. I swear to you.
Did you just say malarkey?
I didn't say malarkey.
Hey, everybody get out your don't quote us bingo cards. Let's get malarkey off the board early.
That's a good one.
Oh boy. Yeah, no, 55 degrees. Can we talk about the matchup of that one real quick before we get to the other playoff game?
Sure.
So I was really sitting down and thinking about it. And how much tougher of a matchup is this than the Jacksonville game for the Buffalo Bills? Because it's no question that offensively the Broncos have struggled. And the Broncos have struggled to run the ball a lot this season, which is the Buffalo Bills' defensive specialty is stuffing the run, right? So now we're going to lean heavy on Bo Nix, who has had his struggles, but I believe in Bo. Whereas the Bills' offense equals, I think, or matches the energy and the talent level that the Broncos are throwing out there on defense. So it's I don't know what the difference is going to be, but it could be Bo Nix could be the difference one way or the other.
Oh, without a doubt. Come playoff time, it always will come down to quarterback play, in my opinion. You just can't outplay poor quarterback play, especially once you get into the divisional round of the playoffs.
Who are you taking in that one?
You're right. This is going to be a tough. I'm gonna keep stamping along with the Buffalo Bills.
Hey, there you go.
I'm telling you, I think the playoff experience is just so understated. No matter who wins this Houston-Pittsburgh game, there is really no other AFC team that can match the playoff experience that the Buffalo Bills have. And I think that has more of a factor than we like to admit. Because when the going gets tough, they've been in these positions before. And I think if they were to find themselves in that position again, it will only benefit them.
Yeah.
Plus, I just don't like Bo Nix that much.
It's hard. Like, I can only imagine how difficult it is for an NFL quarterback in their second year in biggest game of his career at this point, and you look across the sideline and there's Josh Allen, knowing that you as the quarterback can do nothing about what's about to happen. There's nothing you can do. You can go out there and play the best game you can, but there's nothing you can do to stop Josh Allen.
Exactly. This is a rematch, if you remember, of the wild card game last year. That's also something to remember. This is their first divisional playoff game since the 2015 year when they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 23-16 en route to the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, if you remember back then.
I do.
This is also, speaking of the 1992 playoffs, this is also a rematch of the 1992 AFC Championship game during the Bills' run of making it to the Super Bowl 4 straight times.
So history would favor the Bills.
Well for Yeah, that one didn't end so well for Denver. Kicker David Treadwell missed 3 field goals, and John Elway had to leave the game in the fourth quarter, giving way to Gary Kubiak, who almost pulled out the victory.
Oh, Gary Kubiak has entered the chat.
Remember him?
I do. Him?
Oh, here, let me give you the groundbreaking information. Implications of NFL's referee crew assigned. Oh, fuck. Never mind. Not going to give it to you. I got blocked.
Oh, wah.
I was going to give you something about the referee crew, but nope, guess not.
Nope, and that is behind a paywall, folks. So do us a favor, give us a like and a follow, please, so we can start paying for some of this shit.
Yeah. But yeah, this feels like a Buffalo win to me.
I think so too. I'm really interested.
We'll get into the Patriots. It feels like we are marching down a winner-take-all Game 3 between the Buffalo Bills and New England Patriots, regardless of how bad New England played last week.
Yep, I think you're right there.
Or I guess not last week, yesterday. So getting into that game, was that game more of a game that New England won, or Los Angeles just couldn't win, solely from the fact that Justin Herbert was running for his life behind one of the worst offensive line game plays I've ever seen before in my life?
Yeah, it was a game that the Chargers couldn't win. The Patriots felt like they were trying to give it away at times. But it just wasn't a game with that O-line that they could win. And what that tells me, and what I'll say to Chargers fans is, silver lining is when you get Slater and you get Joe Alt back, and this team is still together, that's going to be an elite level team when they actually have some pass blocking. When they've actually got a run game that they can establish. Martin Hampton had 1 carry for -1 yard, for God's sakes. I mean, that was supposed to be your bell cow. You drafted him in the first damn round. So, I mean, there should be a silver lining.
He was also injured, so he was also injured.
Fair.
But it was also one of those things when they did the opening lineups on the broadcast and they had the PFF grades underneath, and it was like the center, and he was like last or second to last, and then it was the guard, he was also second to last, then it was the other guard, he was like middle of the pack, like 23 out of 31 or something like that. One of the left tackles hadn't even played enough snaps to be rated, and then the other one was like bottom of the barrel too, and it was just like, we should have known at that moment this game was over.
Yeah, and New England didn't capitalize on it. You know, you look at the Chargers defense, and I'm not knocking them, but like, there's not a lot of big names that made big plays. And shout out to their D line, Tier Tart, and is it Odefe Owe, who had 3 sacks? Like, great for you guys. But New England, you should be able to handle guys like that. You should be. The New England offense needed to capitalize more. They needed to play with more of a sense of urgency to help their defense out. That's why this thing was so tight.
Yeah, and it goes back to the whole commentary that's been around New England this entire season, and they just haven't beat anybody. This one against the Chargers was the third game that they had played against a team that made the playoffs. It was the Chargers, who they beat, the Buffalo Bills twice, and they split those games. And then the Panthers. They beat the Panthers.
Sure. And you know,
Finished 8 or
some
10.
some of that inexperience showed through with Drake May. He was quick out of the pocket. He didn't feel
Oh,
like he
sorry.
could get to.
Sorry. They also lost to the Steelers. So they played 4 games. 5 games against playoff teams. Lost to the
Okay.
Steelers, beat the Panthers, split with the Bills. So 2-2. And then 3-2 with that win last night. But continue. Sorry.
Okay. But we talked about playoff experience. Part of the reason that I picked against the Patriots in this one, I thought that would probably, truthfully, be the best thing for them. So Drake May comes back with a chip on his shoulder. But you could see the inexperience of that. Not that he played, I mean, he created with his feet in an incredible way. Both quarterbacks did, being leading rushers. But let's see another step. I want to see a little more fluidity, a little more calmness out of Drake May. Sit in there, trust your O-line, make your reads, big fella. You got the arm to do it.
Yeah, without a doubt. But it almost felt like they just needed to get one under the belt, and they might have gotten lucky where they had a stinker and they got it out of the way first round. And again, that really wasn't as close as the score might have led you to believe. They felt like they were in control for that entire game. And if that is the worst game we see from them this postseason, that still could be a scary team.
Agreed. And I tell you what, they need to go out, whoever they get, the Texans or Steelers, they need to go out and establish some dominance and absolutely thrash them in the second round to let the rest of the AFC know, and especially Josh Allen and the Bills, we are coming and we are going to fight every inch of this thing.
Yeah, but that going back to the conversations about AFC quarterbacks and struggling in the playoffs. So now Justin Herbert is 0-3 in his 3 postseason starts. He's taken a total of 13 sacks in those games, turned the ball over 5 times, and if you remember, one of those games was an absolute collapse against the Jacksonville Jaguars where they gave up a 20-plus point lead and lost that game a couple years ago. But this is back-to-back years losing with Jim Harbaugh, goes back to Brandon Staley, multiple offensive coordinators. I will say their offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, I felt like got out-schemed like no other in this game. Even if Herbert had time in the pocket, it felt like he had nowhere to go with the ball regardless. Nobody was getting open. The receivers struggled to find open space. But then Harbaugh, his entire like offensive scheme is establishing the run, and then the run opens up play action and these different things in the pass game, right? Well, if you can't set up the run attack, well, now Herbert's left on an island, and if New England's not scared of the run, they're just pinning their ears back and just having a field day on Justin Herbert. So, how much are the, like, percentage wise, how much are you putting the blame between Herbert, Greg Roman, Jim Harbaugh, offensive line?
Yeah, I know a couple of Chargers fans, not many, but they're done with Herbert. They say he can't win in the playoff, that he's not the guy to get him there. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't blame Herbert for a lot of what happened. I blame the offensive line. I blame the injuries. The play calling, they got away from what they're supposed to be, but again, it's because of the injuries. They're going to have to go and get a veteran running back. Because if Hampton's with these injuries and the injuries stunted his development, he's still growing, they're going to have to go get somebody that they can really lean on in a big way. I blame this entirely on the injuries. I didn't love the play calling, but it's the injuries. The injuries got him.
Yeah, and I would have to agree with you there, right? I don't think there's any quarterback in the league that's going to be able to overcome the injuries and offensive line play that they got from their backups and who is out there, who is going to win that game.
Yeah. So this has all reignited a rumor that actually you had talked about at one point in time, very, very early in the year. If the Chargers come out and say that, yeah, we can't win with Herbert, we don't think he's that guy, we're going to move him. As a Vikings fan, how many picks or what are you willing to send along with J.J. McCarthy to the Chargers for Herbert? Because seemingly that makes sense that Harbaugh goes and gets his guy, the one that he got the most out of this guy that anybody ever could, right? He's JJ's his guy. What are you willing to give up?
2 first-round picks, J.J. McCarthy, and probably a mid-round pick, maybe a third-round pick.
So you would leverage this first rounder and next year's?
Yeah.
I don't hate that. Truly, I don't hate it. I don't know that it has to be 2 first rounders. There will be a first rounder with JJ, but I think you might be able to get it done with some depth picks in the 4th, 5th, 6th.
No. For a quarterback like Justin Herbert, it's 2 first-round picks as a starting point.
Yeah, I get that. I think
Russell
I
Wilson
wonder if
went
there's
for
a
how
role.
many Russell Wilson went for how many first-round picks plus depth pieces as a 30-plus-year-old quarterback when he got traded to Denver.
Yeah, listen, bad franchise make bad decisions. I don't know what to tell you on that one. That was a bad trade.
But, hey, let's not sit here and pretend like that was some egregious move by Denver when they did that.
Oh no, I'm
Russell
looking
Wilson
with full hindsight.
Yeah, Russell Wilson was literally coming off a year. He was injured. He only played 14 games that year, but he still threw for over 3,000 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 6 picks with a passer rating of 103.
Yeah.
And he was like 34 at the time of that trade too.
Oh, Jesus, Lord have mercy. So, like, you would be fully comfortable as if Justin Herbert were the quarterback of the Vikings. You're not buying into this. He can't win in the playoff situation.
No. I think Herbert is a top 5 quarterback in this league, and I think with the right talent around him, it will truly unlock his potential.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with you. And I could only imagine the wet dreams Vikings fans would be having. Think about Herbert throwing to JJ and Jordan Addison. It would be electric if they could get that deal done. Go for it, man. Go for it. Let Harbaugh do Harbaugh things.
Yep, Minnesota will be linked to every name in the quarterback market this offseason, whether it be Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. If you have a pulse and you can play NFL quarterback at a decent level, you're going to be connected to the Minnesota Vikings this offseason.
Probably. The matchup next. I know we don't know the team, but let me throw this at you real quick. Between Texans and Steelers, who do you think would have a better chance at beating New England?
Don't ask silly questions. You already know the answer to that. What do you think?
Just want to make sure you're still locked in, all right? I didn't know if we were throwing some crazy shit out there with the Steelers.
Brother, if there are no Pittsburgh Steelers haters alive, that means I'm dead. So as long as I'm alive, there will be a Steelers hater and a truther that this team is dog shit and are lucky to be in playoffs. Don't ask me stupid questions. Obviously, the Texans are the team that the Patriots would least like to play, even though they did lose to the Steelers, but that was early on in this year. Grain of salt. We forget those. We rinse our mind of that. But Pittsburgh's dog doo-doo shit. And I hate Aaron Rodgers. Dude's a prick.
Oh, I didn't know that about you. That's a new development.
Yeah. Hate him. With a passion.
We couldn't tell, buddy.
Good. That means actually not good. That means I've done a terrible job of letting you know of my hatred of that Ashawashka freak.
Ashawashka. All right.
Ayahuasca.
There it is. All right.
Okay. I got it. Fuck off. Sorry I don't get into the hardcore drugs. My bad.
It's a plant. It just grows like
Fuck out of
that.
here. Get out of here. Okay.
Uh,
Shout outs. I got a shout out. You want to hear my shout out?
I would love to.
Shout out the motherfucking Vanderbilt Commodores. Number 11 in the AP poll. 16-0 for the first time ever. The best start in 124 years of Vanderbilt basketball. And they are one of 6 remaining undefeated teams this year. I couldn't tell you a goddamn player name that plays on this team. But shout out Vanderbilt. It's the year of the doors, baby. First you had Diego on the gridiron. Now you got these dudes on the hardwood. So shout out Commodores.
Yeah, they're. I don't care what anyone says. They're the best basketball team in the SEC, which is awesome to see. My shout out.
Give me. I don't think have really played anybody yet, but continue.
I'm calling it they're the best team in the SEC right now. But let me change hats for a moment. Shout out to Kyle Whittingham, baby. Shout out to Kyle Whittingham, because guess what? Michigan, about 6 weeks ago, I was sitting here saying, this could doom us. This could be the end. It could be all over. Nope. Kyle Whittingham had something to say about that. Not only did he keep most of the guys who entered the portal, at least the guys that mattered, right? The old lineman, keeping Underwood. But then he goes out and gets one of the best receivers out of Texas in French. He goes and gets an All-American in John Henry Daly. He gets the Justice Haynes replacement in Tatum Taylor. J.J. Buchanan is going to be an All-American at tight end. The team Whittingham's putting together might have better talent than last year's Michigan team. So shout out and go blue, baby.
Okay. Thank you for that. I'm glad we are awarding another January championship to the Michigan Wolverines. Another offseason title for the Michigan Wolverines.
Oh, I can't be a fan? I can't be excited?
No, you can be a fan. We'll just see how it plays out when the games actually are played. That's all.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Hey, when we're sitting here playing in the playoff, bro. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, folks, that is wraps on episode 38. Sorry it's a little bit longer. I feel like dog shit. I'm going to edit this episode and then scurry off into bed for the next 8 hours, ideally. Herb, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. Tell your girl that I appreciate her giving us this time and not breaking up our date night on Mondays. With that being said, thank you all for listening. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow. Tell somebody you know to give us a listen. I'm talking to you, Herb's girl. I want at least 3 new listeners from you ASAP. That's the least you could do. And I hope I can name drop eventually.
Not right now. Not right now.
I know. I said eventually. Hey,
for the homies, I appreciate that.
So I already said like, comment, subscribe, follow. Like, comment, subscribe, follow. Okay. That's all I got. We'll see you next week.
See you.